there's more than one reason to celebrate. Let's go on a journey. And count the ways as we take you to experience a different side of the world's cultures. Adventure awaits on Festivals of the World. Sinulog. Come to Cebu City in the Philippines, the metropolis of the Central Visayas area, for the Sinulog Festival. It's one of the biggest and most famous festivals in the Philippines. The activities related to the festival start as early as December, but the main event happens on the third week of January. This grand festival serves as a clash of the Philippine cultures past and present. This event commemorates a Catholic celebration, at the same time incorporating the pagan culture the Filipinos had during the pre-colonization period. Ever wondered where the term Sinulog came from? Well, it originated from the Cebuano word sulog, which roughly translates to water-like current movement that resembles the Sinulog dance. Anyway, the Sinulog festival is in honor of the Santo Niño, or the Child Jesus. The first image of the Santo Niño was given to the chief Raja Humabon by the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan as a gift when they arrived in Cebu in 1521. Before the fun begins, the more serious matters come first. It's typical in the Philippines to have processions during the feast days of their patron saints. But in this case, it's the Santo Niño being paraded around the streets of the city with devout worshippers walking with it. The procession starts and ends in the church. The day after the procession is the most anticipated one because it's time for the Grand Parade. The Grand Street Parade is the main event of the festival. This is the one happening on the third week of January, and it lasts for about 9 to 12 hours. People participating in the parade are coming from different regions in the Philippines, not just the locals in Cebu, and most of the spectacle you see on this parade is a part of a contest, like the floats, the street dances, and the festival queens. The sound of the drums, the bustling crowds, the anticipation, the competitiveness of the participants, and the lively colors will make the wait all worth it. You're going to see dazzling floats, the towering gigantes, or giants in English, handcrafted by Cebuano artists. Be captivated by the beautiful festival queens and watch the parade participants perform the dances they prepared for the Santo Niño. The Grand Parade is definitely an energetic and exciting event, but of course the inevitable tiredness kicks in, plus the heat of the sun will make you more exhausted, so bring water with you and wear something light, cool and comfortable, plus a hat or an umbrella. Because of the Sinulog Festival's popularity, chaotic street parties have been popping here and there. It's understandable that many people are just soaking up the joy in the festival, but these noisy street parties disrupt the sanctity of the event. There are also lots of people putting paint on their faces and get beautiful henna tattoos. You might want to get one if you want a short remembrance of your visit to Sinulog. Speaking of remembrances, you don't have to worry if you want to get a real souvenir from Sinulog, because there are lots of kiosks and stalls selling souvenir items, and even better, food to silence your growling stomach after all that walking and wandering around the streets of Cebu. How do you know the festival is over? Look at the sky. If there are fireworks, then that's your signal. The fireworks display lasts for about 30 minutes, and it captures the attention of thousands of visitors. Listen to yourself and others expressing amazement on the explosion of lights in the sky. Set to music and launched with precision, the fireworks are definitely putting up a good show. But everyone wants to get a good spot to see the fireworks more properly, so you better find yourself a good place to watch. Now, get a move on and have a fun little trip to the Philippines, specifically in Cebu City, and witness this amazingly great festival that's one of the biggest in the world, featuring the diversity of Philippine culture. Come and see Sinulog Festival. Notting Hill Carnival. Venice has it. Rio has it. And guess what? London also has it. They have the Notting Hill Carnival. But even though it's called Carnival, it's not a pre-Lenten season event. The Notting Hill Carnival happens on the August bank holiday in the United Kingdom, the last Sunday of August and the Monday after. If you love street parties and dances, this event is yours truly. And it's not as grand as the Rio Carnival, but Notting Hill is amazing in its own ways. And this carnival was founded for a great purpose, to overcome racial tensions, because in the late 1950s to early 1960s, there are huge numbers of immigrants from the Caribbean, and the white locals weren't too happy about it. It seems that the carnival had done its magic because the immigrants who first started the carnival threw mixed celebrations to commemorate cultural diversity and to repair cultural differences. From there, the celebrations just got bigger and bigger that the police had to oversee the festivities and break off any violent riots. Thousands of people flocked the streets of Notting Hill and the borough of Kensington and Chelsea and have 2 days of street fun and mayhem. What you should look forward to are the people in colorful and flamboyant costumes. They are inspired from the Rio Carnival's extravagance with the huge feathers and headdresses. They may not have the extravagant floats of Rio, but they have street parades and lively musical bands, and it doesn't matter whether it's sunny or rainy, the show will go on. If you feel like dancing, don't restrain yourself. Everyone in the streets are dancing away to the sound of the soca, calypso, and reggae music coming out from the huge sound systems scattered everywhere. There are people who become really wild and crazy during the Notting Hill Carnival, so if you come across something unfriendly or uncomfortable, you could just stay away or call a police officer. There are lots of them looking over the festivities. Whatever happens, don't let it ruin your fun. Also, make sure that you don't bring too many valuables because the streets are flocked with people and it's not easy finding your things once you lose them. Wear closed shoes because sometimes the streets get muddy after the rain and your feet might get trampled on by other rampaging pairs of feet. Dance and sway to the beat of the music. You'll be having a great time. Now, what is a festival without food? There's nothing like having special Caribbean food in the boisterous streets of Notting Hill. There's smoky barbecue, jerk chicken, rice, goat curry, ackee, and saltfish. If you're a vegetarian, it's not a problem because there are vegetarian patties, chips, and curry. You might find some or all of these food while you're having the time of your life. And remember, it's important to eat, especially on exhausting events like these. Always bring water with you too. With thousands of people around you, the dancing, the unpredictable London weather, you definitely need water to replenish. With thousands of people flocking to London, it's hard to navigate your way, so you can't just get lost in the city. Plan your route or set up meetup destinations if you get separated from your friends. Anyway, once this 2-day street party is over, you can now freely roam the streets of West London and see the beautiful sights Notting Hill has to offer. So come to London on its most fun and chaotic stage and see a different side of the city by being part of the Notting Hill Carnival. Hopefully, you still have some energy to spare after spending 2 days in the biggest street party in Europe. Have a great time! Thaipusam. The Hindu communities all over the world are all one for Thaipusam. It's an annual 3-day celebration during the full moon in between mid-January and mid-February in honor of Lord Murugan, the Hindu god of war. This event is observed in Hindu communities all over the world, but the most popular destinations is in Malaysia for the famous Batu Caves, where you'll see a huge golden statue of Lord Murugan at the entrance to the caves, wherein thousands of people flock if they decide to observe Thaipusam in Malaysia. Lord Murugan is the son of Shiva, one of the main deities in Hinduism, and his wife Parvati. Thaipusam commemorates the day where Parvati gives her son a sacred spear to defeat and kill the demon Surpadman. Thaipusam does not mark Lord Murugan's birthday. It's a more somber holiday because people see this event as a time for atonement for their sins. To show their penance, the Hindu faithfuls would undergo a vegetarian diet and practice celibacy for a month to prepare themselves spiritually. During the peregrination, the faithfuls carry jars of milk and big decorated frames called kavadi or burden. These frames are supported by hooks and spikes that pierces the back and the chest. The piercings serve as the atonement of sins. It is also a demonstration of their gratitude and their commitment to overcome challenges. For them, short-term physical pain is equal to a long-term spiritual gain, which is why they do it. If you're a non-Hindu witnessing this, remember that piercing is a part of their customs and traditions during Thaipusam. So if you feel uncomfortable looking at the parade of pierced men, you may choose not to watch them, but do not make a scene or do anything that would interrupt the ceremonies. On the other hand, if you are entertained by this piercing tradition, do not make on-the-spot decisions and decide all of a sudden that you want to get pierced as well. It took participants' rigorous preparations for this, and it's not for the light-hearted, amateurs, and most importantly, it's not a joke. Thaipusam attracts lots of tourists and devout Hindus, so be careful not to step on other people's feet or get your feet stepped on by others. Beware of the hooks and knives because they are very popular during Thaipusam. But don't worry, no one will hurt you. All these sharp objects are for religious purposes. Also, be prepared for a lot of walking. If you're coming from Kuala Lumpur going to the Batu Caves, you're going to walk 9 miles or ride a taxi. But the traffic is going to be bad because of the procession. And when you get to the Batu Caves, you have to go up to the 272 steep steps of the Batu Caves with thousands of other people climbing up with you. So wear comfortable shoes and bring water with you. When you get to climb up the top, you'll get to see a great view. The pilgrimage of the devotees also end at the Batu Caves. They perform a dance before Lord Murugan. Those who have pierced themselves can unhook and unload their kavadis and say their prayers. As for the wounds they had while carrying the kavadis, these are immediately treated with lemon juice and holy ash to prevent having scars. While you're at it, explore the Batu Caves. You can explore the Hindu temples enclosed in the cave walls and the humongous statues of many different Hindu deities on display. When you've toured the entire place, it's a crossover of a park and a museum exhibit. You also get to see the natural rock formations at the caves, then inside them are touches of Hinduism. Thaipusam is one of the festivals with very sacred meanings. All the more reason to see it. It's not a festival of partying, but Hindu believers leave the place refreshed and reinvigorated, emotionally and spiritually, and that leaves a different kind of happiness in them. Hopefully, if you're non-Hindu, you'd experience that great feeling as well. Junkanoo. Say hello to the beautiful and sunny Bahamas, for this is where you'll witness the beautiful and vibrant Junkanoo Parade. Luckily, this one happens during the Christmas holidays, specifically during Boxing Day and New Year's Day. So the Bahamas is a great place to spend your vacation. It seems that you have to end your Christmas Day celebrations earlier than usual, because Junkanoo begins at 2 in the morning of December 26th, and it'll be a guaranteed exhausting day, so don't even think about catching some sleep while the festivities are going on, because you won't have a quiet time for several long hours. But no worries, your sacrifices will all be worth it once you see what's in store for you. When you go out of the streets in the Bahamas, it would seem like you're seeing rainbows because everything is colorful. Junkanoo is a celebration of life and freedom for the Bahamians, so it's only fitting that their costumes reflect how important Junkanoo is. There are many theories as to where the roots of the term Junkanoo, and the most popular theory was John Canoe, a West African prince during the 17th century. This popular name was probably a rough and corrupted translation of the original African name, which remains unknown until today. It was said that John Canoe beat the English and the Dutch, causing them to fear him. He fought for his people's right to celebrate their cultural traditions and customs. Therefore, slaves were given a 3-day holiday during Christmas where they would take a break from slave labor and reunite and celebrate with their family and friends through music, dance, and costumes. The slaves, of course, not having enough money, had to be resourceful. They used any material they could find, like scrap cloths, paper, and feathers, and sewn them to their clothes. This festival may rival the grandeur of the Carnival in Rio de Janeiro and the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. There is no person falling asleep in the entire country, most especially if you're at the capital city, Nassau, because of all the music, the high levels of energy, and the anticipation for the parades, which, by the way, you should not miss. The Junkanoo music may sound primitive, but the rhythm is very contagious. The people use basic music instruments, made locally, and they consist of drums, horns, cowbells, whistles, and brass. The drums are beaten with bare hands. Then, there are the cowbells that are played in pairs, shaken together. Then, there are the horns which come into different kinds, and these are never absent in Junkanoo because they accompany the infectious music. So get up on your feet and dance to the beat. Junkanoo is never dull. Big thanks to the costumes they have. The locals take their parade costumes very seriously. Some even start making theirs several months beforehand. The costumes follow a theme. Be prepared to be amazed on what costumes you'll see. Some costumes are bigger and taller than the wearer, and they reach about 10 feet high. Patterns and designs on the costumes are usually made out of crepe paper, feathers, and cardboard supported by thin wires. They usually consist of a headdress, a shoulder piece, and a skirt. The costumes are also decorated with glitter, beads, and plastic gemstones. It's really a great opportunity to get creative. Don't forget, you're in the Bahamas, a country where the climate is hot in general. So while the rest of the world is freezing in the cold December, take out your sunnies and chill in the warm Bahamas weather. Thankfully, the Bahamas is also a part of an archipelago, so there surely are lots of beaches that you can relax in. So what are you still doing? Celebrate your holidays differently this time. Instead of enjoying a winter wonderland, why not make your holidays summer all year round? Have a taste of the Bahamian culture by coming to the Junkanoo Parade. See you there! Capture the memories. It's a good thing that there's something that could connect festivals and modern technology, and one of those things would be taking photos or videos. You know what people say, take a photo or it never happened. Preserve the joy and whatever emotion you have felt while you're within the magic of the festival. Whether the picture contains you, your friends, random strangers, or the scenery, just click away. But remember, don't just take selfies. Take pictures of the fireworks, people throwing things at each other, or you and your friends getting dirty from the dye, the mud, the tomatoes, whatever that may be. It could also serve as good promotion for the organizers if you enjoyed the festival experience and you decided to post your photos on your social media accounts. And if your friends and other family members see how much fun you had, maybe they'll think of going too, and possibly go with you on the festival's next editions. Pictures are great ways to remember your experiences, and you can share those memories with others who haven't been to the festival yet. Or you could show them to your grandchildren someday and tell them the way you celebrated festivals in this time. Although there would be other festival organizers that wouldn't be too lenient with some video recording devices, like drones, because they might get lost or get tangled with huge decorations or aerial props, you still have your phones. There is no excuse for not being able to take photos and videos unless you plan to have a phone-free festival, which is almost impossible to do on this time. So take your phones, your cameras, and click away. The celebration ends here, but the fun is not over. And we still have more festivities to look forward to. So recharge your energy and get ready for another adventure. We'll see you again on Festivals of the World.